Time is the only resource you can never recover, and most people waste it without realizing it. They wake up exhausted before the day even begins, not because they are lazy, not because they lack ambition, but because they are carrying too much, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We were taught that a better life comes from addition, more money, more status, more connections, more productivity, but the truth is often the opposite. A peaceful life is built through subtraction. Look around, people have more convenience than ever before, yet they feel constantly overwhelmed. Anxiety is normal now. Burnout is normal. Distraction is normal. We have become collectors of pressure. We carry old failures, future fears, expectations from family, opinions from strangers online, and endless comparisons with people we barely know. The dangerous part is that you slowly adapt to the weight. What once would have broken you now just feels like another ordinary day. You move through life tired, distracted, emotionally numb, and you forget what it feels like to feel light again. There is a way out, but it requires something difficult. You must learn the art of letting go. Not disappearing from the world, disappearing from the things that are destroying your peace. Imagine a fisherman named Daniel. He spent his entire life at sea. The ocean was the only place that felt honest to him. On land, there were endless demands, expectations, noise, and conflict. But on the water, everything was simple. Respect the sea, or the sea would humble you. When Daniel was young, his boat was clean, organized, and light. Every tool had a purpose. Every rope was maintained. The boat moved effortlessly across the waves. It felt alive. But over the years, Daniel began collecting things. Old nets he no longer used, rusted anchors, broken tools, crates filled with things he thought might be useful one day. He kept everything because throwing things away felt wrong. Little by little, the boat became heavier. To people watching from the shore, he looked prepared, he looked experienced, but the sea saw something different. The boat sat lower in the water, it responded slower to the wind, the deck became cluttered and difficult to move across. Daniel noticed it, but ignored it. He believed his experience could compensate for the weight. Then, one October night, a violent storm arrived. The sky turned dark purple. The wind screamed across the water, and the waves slammed against the boat with terrifying force. Years earlier, Daniel could have handled a storm like this easily, but now every movement felt delayed. The soaked nets became dead weight. The old anchors slid violently across the deck. The useless cargo shifted every time the boat turned. He realized something horrifying. The storm was not what threatened to sink him. The weight was. Water poured over the sides as the boat struggled to stay afloat. Daniel stared at all the things he had spent years protecting. Old memories, old tools, old attachments, things that no longer served any purpose. Then a massive wave rose in front of him like a wall. And in that moment, Daniel understood a truth most people avoid their entire lives. If you refuse to let go of what is dead, it will eventually destroy what is still alive. Without hesitation, he grabbed a knife and began cutting ropes. He threw the broken crates into the ocean. He pushed the rusted anchors overboard. He dragged the heavy rotten nets into the sea. Piece by piece, the boat became lighter. And as it became lighter, it began to rise again. When the next wave crashed into him, the boat climbed instead of sinking. The next morning, Daniel returned to shore with almost nothing left, but for the first time in years, he felt free. That story is not really about a fisherman, it is about you. Most people are trying to survive storms while carrying emotional cargo that should have been abandoned years ago. If you want your life to change, you must remove the things silently sinking you. First, eliminate the need for universal approval. This is one of the heaviest burdens a person can carry. Many people spend their entire lives performing for an invisible audience. They filter their personality, suppress their opinions, and shape their lives around being accepted. But approval is endless. You can sacrifice your authenticity, trying to please everyone, and it will never be enough. The moment you constantly need validation, you become controlled by other people's reactions. Freedom begins when you stop asking permission to be yourself. Some people will dislike you anyway, so stop trading your peace for temporary acceptance. Speak honestly, live honestly, and accept that not everyone will understand you. Second, remove the people who constantly drain your energy. Not every toxic person is dramatic. Some are simply exhausting. They complain endlessly, spread negativity, create guilt, or constantly pull emotional energy from you. You leave conversations with them feeling heavier than before. Protecting your peace is not cruelty, it is survival. You do not need dramatic endings. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone. Sometimes distance is enough. Become less available. Stop carrying emotional responsibility for people unwilling to help themselves. Third, break the routines that numb your mind. Modern life is designed to keep people distracted. Every empty second gets filled with scrolling notifications, videos, and noise. Most people can no longer sit alone with their thoughts for even 5 minutes. But constant stimulation destroys clarity. If your mind is always consuming information, it never has time to think deeply. Boredom is not dangerous. In fact, boredom is often where creativity, self-awareness, and purpose begin. Reclaim silence. Reclaim stillness. Stop allowing algorithms to control your attention from the moment you wake up. Fourth, let go of the illusion of control. A huge amount of suffering comes from obsessing over things outside your control. People waste years worrying about opinions, outcomes, the future, mistakes from the past, and circumstances they cannot change. But peace begins when you separate what belongs to you from what does not. Your effort belongs to you, your actions belong to you, your mindset belongs to you. Other people's opinions do not. You cannot control the weather, the economy, or every outcome in life. The more you try to control everything, the more anxious you become. Focus your energy only on what you can actually influence. Fifth, release unrealistic pressure and perfectionism. Many people secretly believe they must perform perfectly every day. They treat themselves like machines instead of human beings. Perfectionism often disguises itself as ambition, but underneath it is usually fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. And because of that fear, people delay starting. They wait for the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect version of themselves. But progress comes from consistency, not perfection. A small step repeated daily is more powerful than rare moments of extreme motivation. Stop demanding flawless performance from yourself. Start building momentum instead. Sixth, stop needing to always be right. The ego loves winning arguments, but constant conflict destroys peace. Think about how much energy people waste mentally rehearsing arguments, replaying conversations, or trying to prove themselves correct. Most debates change nothing. Sometimes the strongest thing you can say is, "You may be right." Not because you lost, but because your peace matters more than your pride. Maturity is realizing not every disagreement deserves your energy. Seventh, protect your attention from digital noise. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you possess, and the modern world is fighting aggressively to steal it. Endless notifications, breaking news, social media outrage, and constant entertainment keep the nervous system overstimulated. People are consuming more information than ever, while understanding themselves less than ever. You cannot think deeply while living in constant interruption. Turn off unnecessary notifications, spend time away from screens, walk without headphones, eat without scrolling. Learn how to exist without constant input. Eighth, challenge the negative voice in your head. Many people live with an internal narrator that constantly criticizes them. It reminds them of past mistakes, predicts future failure, and convinces them they are not enough. But thoughts are not facts. Your mind produces thousands of thoughts every day, and many of them are distorted by fear, insecurity, or past experiences. You are not every thought that enters your mind. When you notice negative self-talk, stop identifying with it. Instead of saying, "I am a failure," say, "I am having the thought that I am a failure." That small difference creates distance. And in that distance, you regain control. Ninth, clear physical and mental clutter. Every unfinished task, every ignored responsibility, and every useless object quietly consumes mental energy. Mess creates psychological weight. That pile of papers, the broken object you never fix, the message you keep avoiding, all of it occupies space in your mind. Simplify your environment, simplify your commitments, simplify your life. Ask yourself whether the things around you support the person you are becoming, or simply remind you of who you used to be. Sometimes growth requires removing before adding. 10th, stop comparing your life to everyone else. Comparison destroys peace because it is based on illusion. You compare your private struggles to other people's public highlights. Social media shows carefully selected moments, not reality. Everyone has hidden fears, hidden pain, and hidden battles. Your timeline is your own. Some people succeed early, others find clarity later, some bloom slowly but deeply. The only comparison that matters is who you were yesterday. Are you becoming more disciplined, more aware, more peaceful, more honest? If the answer is yes, then you are moving forward. After removing these 10 burdens, you may initially feel uncomfortable. Silence can feel strange when you are used to chaos. Space can feel empty when you are addicted to noise. But that emptiness is not failure, it is freedom. You are finally creating room for a different kind of life. Like Daniel, you become lighter. And when the next storm arrives, because storms always come, you will not collapse under unnecessary weight. You will move through difficulty with clarity, strength, and calmness because you stopped protecting the things that were destroying you. Real power is quiet. It does not beg for approval. It does not constantly explain itself. It does not need to dominate every room. It simply exists. Walk through the noise without allowing the noise to enter you. Remain light in a world addicted to heaviness. And remember this: a boat overloaded with dead weight cannot survive the storm, but a light boat can travel farther than most people ever imagine.